Hey Dan, it's oh, hold on a second. All right, I figure every video must be titillating, so if you feel titillated, this is why. So it's Saturday evening, close to 7:30. I'm heating up spaghetti sauce on the stove for carb loading. It is Trinona Eve. Tomorrow, of course, morning is Trinona. And I'm in a bit of a black mood, I have to tell you. I don't know if you ever suffered through this, even now or when you were younger, when you were competing. I dealt with it a lot in high school, of doubts and depression before a big sporting event. And this particular one, I know I shouldn't be focused on winning, but I want to win. I mean, not only do I have a time for myself, I want to swim faster than 20 minutes. But I think I told you there was that one guy I wanted to beat. Well, that's just gotten slightly more complicated, and I'll tell you here in a second why. But, so I have a time that I want to beat. I want to swim in under 20 minutes. But I had a team that I wanted to win. And we're not going to win. I don't know if I had told you that a fellow named Ian had contacted me. He used to work here in town and is a big bicyclist. Works for Head Cycling up in Minneapolis. He contacted me and asked if I wanted to be on a team as a swimmer, of course. And I said yes, and I really didn't hear anything more from him. This was maybe back in January or February. And Sorry. Didn't hear anything from him, and I was in the locker room, and somebody asked me if I had a team. And I told him I wasn't really sure if I had a... I'm going to lean a little closer, maybe you can hear me over the dog. Sorry. I wasn't sure if I had a team or not. And then, literally within 3 or 4 minutes, these people came out of the woodwork and said, "Oh, we need a swimmer, we need a swimmer, we need a swimmer." And inexplicably, I said, I said yes to those guys because I haven't really heard anything from Ian. Now, I feel like I need... Sadie, come here! I feel like I need to mention that Ian is currently the cycling champion in the United States. Yes, in the entire United States. And so I was really rather looking forward to competing with him. And Ian's really a laid-back guy. And so anyway, he's going to be competing with a runner named Ryan, who I know here in town, who's a really good runner, and a guy named Brian, the guy that I wanted to beat, the one guy who I've been focusing on beating in the race, who's actually an exceedingly good swimmer. He's in his early 20s, and I probably don't have any chance of beating him, but he's sort of that goal that I set myself. And I suspect that they're going to win the whole thing, which is great for them. Sucks for me because obviously I want to be that swimmer. And of course I always have my doubts that I'm not prepared. I haven't worked out hard enough. Even though I've been showing steady progress. It's just, again, I'm not really saying whether it's realistic or not. It's just the way it is. And the part about it that's the most frustrating is that there are like 12 heats tomorrow. There's the very first heat, which starts at 7:30, and that's all the elite athletes, so all the professional triathletes who are coming, which we do get some because there's actually like a $2,000 or $1,000 or $2,000 prize for the winner. So obviously a good day's work there, $1,000, right? And so so they had this first wave going, this first heat going off, and that was the heat I was in last year. And so you're starting with all the fastest swimmers, which is great. This year I'm in heat 10, based on the age of our biker, who is 55 or 60, 65 or whatever. Anyway. So we're in heat 10. What that means is that heats 9, so we've got heat 1, and then heats 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all the sprint. So it's the short course. So they go out to the first buoy and they come back in again. And those are on 2-minute intervals. And then 10 minutes after heat 6, or heat 7, heat 6, then there's heat 7, 8, 9, and that's the long course. And it's sort of roughly by age group. And Colin, would you stir that spaghetti sauce, please? Don't get your fingers out of the noodles.
What?
Get your fingers out of the noodles. Go stir the spaghetti sauce. There's a spoon over there. Can you pick the lid up on that little thing? It might be hot. Watch out. So what that means is heat 7 goes off, and then 2 minutes later heat 8, 2 minutes later heat 9, 2 minutes later heat 10. Now what you can expect is that in heat 7, 8, and 9, there are going to be swimmers who are going to be swimming in anywhere between 24 and 30 minutes. So what that means is, in fact, the majority of them are going to be swimming at that speed. So what that means is, over the entire 1,500 meter course, I'm going to have to work my way through 100 swimmers, 50 or 100 swimmers, in order to get to the finish line. And it doesn't sound like that bad. Maybe there's a lot of people out there, but obviously you're swimming. You can't see necessarily where you're going, so you end up doing this a lot. And you end up swimming a hell of a lot longer, hell of a lot farther than 1,500 meters. So suddenly all of my time goals, for 20 minutes are thrown out, because it's a completely different race than it was last year for me. It's really frustrating that I have to deal with that. So there's nothing for it. But Ian and Brian and Ryan, who are the elite relay team, get to go off on the first wave. So what that also means is I'm not going to be swimming necessarily with other waves, with other relay people who I expected to be swimming with, who are also fast swimmers. So I just, I have no idea who I'm swimming with. And anyway, it's really frustrating. I had this thing set in my mind, and I know it's open water swimming. I know that it's a triathlon, and it's not, you're not in a pool, you don't have a lane to yourself, it's not controlled like a pool meet is. But nonetheless, I'm frustrated. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm just in a deep blue funk, and it stinks, and I don't like it. And I know it probably stems, frankly, from a desire to wanting, defining or getting self-esteem, or my sense of self-importance from how I do in the race, or how I do in any kind of those kinds of competitions, which is why competition was so frustrating for me in high school. And frankly, I'm probably better off just competing or not competing and just working out. But on that note, I had told you about Jamie Severson, who is coaching me a little bit. She and I are actually going to start working out together because she wants to get back into swimming more competitively. So we're going to start working out 3 days a week at an outdoor pool, which will be really cool. But the whole point, of course, is then to be able to push each other and really make each other work. So enough swimming, enough analysis. On another note, we have a confirmed case of pertussis, also known, of course, as whooping cough, in our house. Beth has been confirmed with pertussis. It's likely from the sound of everybody else that Colleen has it, Galen has it, Marshall has it, Duncan doesn't have it. I may have had it a little bit, but I think my immune system and my level of cardiovascular shape has really helped not for it to be serious. But anyway, Beth was confirmed on Friday, and we all have, we're all on this, Beth is on antibiotics, and the rest of us are on a prophylactic run of antibiotics as well, though likely, if we actually took the kids in, they would be confirmed as having had it too. Stir it again, please, yes. So Beth has been feeling pretty rotten for 2 weeks, and I've had this lingering cough, which doesn't help Trinona either. Oh, I'm back talking about Trinona again. So anyway, excuse me. See, lingering cough. And you can hear Colleen in the background. She's had a pretty bad cough. So has Galen. So let's see what else is going on. Weather. We talked a little bit about weather last time. We had those 3 days where it was 95, 102, and 93 respectively. The very next day it was a high of 60 with a low of 47. The next day after that it was a high of like 58 with a low of 42. Well, look at me, just pick it up, honey. It's not that hot.
I'm gonna walk now.
But frankly, I prefer the cold weather for Trinona again, because the water was getting too hot, and I prefer cooler water when I'm swimming really hard, especially with my wetsuit on. So, thank you for showing me all the different ways that, and now I can't remember Bryn's friend who's over visiting because I don't have it on the top of my head, but all the different ways that she came out. I was confused, and I think that actually sheds light on not only how she came out, but all the different ways a person can come out. That was wonderful. So, thank you. I have a couple of other suggestions of how she could have possibly been coming out, but I'll skip those since I don't know her that well, and I don't want to offend anyone, least of all Sarah. What else is happening, Dan? Looks like I got about a minute and a half left that I can talk. Honey, what's going on? Nothing? Duncan took the ACT today? Yay.
Cabin.
What?
Yeah,
with the whooping cough. That's funny because my mom calls it whooping cough. Anyway. With the whooping cough, we had sent Galen up to a friend's cabin with their family, the Hallbergs, the big Man U fans that I was telling you about. Don't do that. That's just, you can look, but don't. That's distracting. But he went up to their cabin for 3 days, and I had to actually call them yesterday and tell them the bad news, and they decided just to quarantine him and stick him in his own bedroom. So, that's all I can think of. I mean, Shakespeare's coming up. Honestly, I'm really not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to all the work that has to be done. Karu can tell you how much work is involved, and plus, I don't really have anybody here who I can expect to wreck my car. So, without that, it's just not quite the same summer. Let's see. What was I going to say? Wrecking car. Oh, the Land Cruiser. I got to tell you about that. I took the tabs were expired on the license plate, and I just assumed that Beth and I had renewed all the tabs for all 3 cars in the fall, which is what we usually do, and I just couldn't find them, or that I had not put them on the Land Cruiser yet. So what did I do? I drove the Land Cruiser down to the lake for some open water swimming, and I parked it's a city park, and I parked in the municipal parking lot, and promptly got $100+ ticket for expired tabs. So how's that for fun? So anyway, I'm going to sign off. We're still dead, right? Colleen and I are still dead. Tomorrow's Trinona. and I'll send some video from that. Be well.